Hey guys, I recently have been trying to find a wrap to wear around my bag when I want to wear like a crop top or something that's see-through, but I don't really feel like wearing my Spanx or a tank top. So I went to ostomysecrets.com and I've bought some wraps from them before, and I went to look at their lace wraps, and they're $40. Like, I do not have that kind of money. So I embarked to Walmart and I got some fabric and I just went to town. I was like, okay, I'll try this. So I'm gonna show you guys how to make a wrap like this one. It's just two kinds of fabric. It cost me about $3. Not expensive at all. So let's get into it. Okay guys, so I know you can't see me. So all I did was I took some fabric that I bought. Let's see. So I would suggest when you're making a wrap, think of a bandeau for you girls out there. Think of a bandeau like a bra that wraps around you just perfectly. It doesn't have to fit. And keep in mind that around your waist is going to fit a little bit differently than around your boobs. So I went to Walmart and bought some lace, and just to go over the top like this one, and some spandex material. It has to be spandex based because it needs to be stretchy. So what I did with the one I'm making right now is it is leopard print. It's just basic lace. Nothing really fantastic about it. And then some stretchy black. And then one I already made, this one, it is, you can see it. It's gray and with some blue. And I couldn't find a white, otherwise I would have made white and blue. But gray works just as well. I mean, it matches whatever. Get like a black crop top or something, it'll match perfectly. So all I do is I take my material, and I've already cut it, so I just take my material. You take whichever one you want to take first, measure it around your body to whatever tightness you want it to be at. I cut mine a little bit bigger than I think it's gonna be, because that way when I'm sewing it, it's gonna be smaller. So keep in mind that you want to cut it a little bit bigger instead of cutting it smaller. You can always cut excess off and just resew it. It's not a big deal. So once you've cut it, I cut the black first and kind of made sure that it fit correctly. And this was my first one. The blue and gray one was my experiment. So I did that one first, and I don't like how you can see the thread in the you know what I'm saying, right? Where I sewed it. And in the seam, it's right here in the middle. I'm not very fond of that, but I don't know how to cover it up. So for now, I'm just going to deal with it. Not a big deal. So after you cut it, and they're the same length and width, just go ahead and take some needles with ends on. They have to have ends or you're going to lose your needles. Take them out, and you just take them out one by one, like this. And you measure up each side so that when you're sewing them together, it'll be the same on both sides. You'll have fabric for days, and you can always cut off fabric. That's what I end up doing a lot. So it's just gonna look like this. Oh, where'd it go? Lost my needle. So it's like that. You just have your needle right here. That way you can find it later. Not a big deal. Hey there. So once you mark those needles, then you can start sewing. And for those of you who don't know how to put thread through a needle, you need to have good eyesight because it's not easy. You need a sewing needle. Just your basic needle. Doesn't have to be anything special, really. This is my mom's, so I don't even know anything about it, really. And you take any kind of thread, just sewing thread, and there's this little tiny hole, and you just put the thread through it, and you want to double it up so that it's like this. So you put it through one end, pull it, okay. So you pull it through one end, and then you make the ends even, and then you just tie a knot at the end, like this. That way when you're sewing it like this, and then you pull it through, and then it'll stop right here. So I'm going to do a little bit, and then I'll come back. So for those of you who don't know how to sew, it's really, really simple. I don't use a sewing machine, I hand sew, mainly because I don't have a sewing machine. But my mom just taught me how to hand sew, and it's super simple. You just take your needle, and you start on the corner right here, and, oh, let me switch hands. And all you do is you just sew down, come up, make sure you go through both layers. You come up, you go like this, you just pull it through so that the thread tightens, and it obviously will sew two of the pieces together. And like I said earlier, make sure that it's bigger because you're going to want to sew in about 1/4 of an inch inward from the outside of the fabric, because you don't, like with this lace, it's really, really, not fragile, but it's so thin that the blue one, it was ripping every time I would sew. It was ripping about right here. So you want to sew down a little bit just in case it was to rip. And also make sure that you're alternating, that you're going up and down like this, and up and down, and then also like this, just to make sure that it is sewing properly. Now, if you're left-handed, I would suggest starting on the left-hand side and going this way. Because I'm right-handed, I like to work it this way. So I'll come back when I have this finished, and I'll show you how I do the other side. So once you've reached this point, you're going to want to cut it off of the needle and tie it about 3 times just to make sure that it doesn't come undone. So I'm going to do that, and then just keep sewing and sewing until you reach the end and you've done all 4 sides. If you were just doing a solid color or just solid lace, you would simply just sew each end together and you wouldn't have to go all the way around the sides. But this only takes me about an hour, and it's kind of relaxing in my opinion. So yeah, I've finished this side right here, and then a little bit right here, and then I ran out of thread, so I'm just gonna cut this part off, put more thread on my needle, and then just keep going. So it's all done. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on. So this is what it looks like on. My bag is like a few days old, otherwise it would be a lot flatter, but I'm pretty happy with it. I think it looks really cute. With like a solid shirt, it would look adorable. Like I said, the seam is kind of weird, but I think I figured out a way to fix it next time I make one. But yeah, like I said, making it a little bit shorter might help because it's pretty big right here. As you can see, I'm pretty thin, so it's a little big, but that's okay. But yeah, it's a super easy process. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I did it all by hand. I don't have a sewing machine, like I said. They're really fun to make. You can mix them up with a bunch of different patterns. I was actually making my own bag covers as well. I might do a tutorial on that one too if you guys like this one. So I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!